Hello and welcome to Hive Coffee. My name is Mike and I'll be your host. This is a show exclusively posted to LeoFinance.io, so make sure you sign in and leave a comment today. Don't forget to vote on the Leo Ball post, which was posted just before we went live today. If you vote on that, you're going to share the curation rewards, but you could also win a chance to earn half of the author rewards in Leo paid out next week. So watch for that when I spin the prize wheel. Today I have an exciting show lined up for you here today. We have Nathan Mars joining us. He is very active on Twitter. He has been promoting Hive and he has lots of great things to say. Hey, can you hear me, Nathan?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mike.
How's it going today?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Thanks for this opportunity and thanks for connecting with me. And I'm looking forward to talk.
Of course, I love talking to other hivers about the things that are exciting to you, the things that you
Yeah.
love to read and post, and what it is that you're doing to move this chain forward. So, the first thing I want to ask you is how did you get into
Yep.
crypto?
Okay, so 2014, I had a brief introduction to Bitcoin through my Airbnb guest. That time, I was quite happy with what I was doing with my life, so I never went further with crypto. So 2017, I was traveling around the world and I had lots of money that I'm looking to invest. So I'm looking for investment opportunity. Then I come across Bitcoin or crypto for the second time in my life. And I had time freedom and then financial freedom. So I kind of went all in. So 2017, I got into crypto and towards halfway through the year, I'm all in crypto.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what
Yeah.
was it that really interested you when when you first looked at it, you maybe didn't pay attention to it too much. You were focused on what you were doing, but when you did take a look at it the second time, what was it for you that really made it stand out?
Obviously I had this money in my bank account, so that wasn't paying any interest or anything, so I wanted to do something with it, so I was looking for that to a investment asset. But what got me really hooked up with Bitcoin and crypto is I remember first 30 days before I got into crypto or investing a little in crypto, I was watching YouTube videos. One of the video I watched from Roger Ver of Bitcoin Cash, or he used to call it, they used to call him Bitcoin Jesus. So he said like something like along the line of, if it's Bitcoin can stop all the war is happening around the world, the Iraqi children and all these things. That kind of resonated with me on a deepest level. I thought this is something very powerful, and I don't want anybody to die, and this at least make a war-free world and non-violent world, and I want to do much as possible. So that's kind of uh, the alignment that when me kind of commit to crypto and go all in.
Absolutely. I think that the potential for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies to dismantle the power systems that use violence and oppression to control people through fear and poverty. Bitcoin is transformative, and a lot of people
Yeah,
still are very skeptical, and rightly so, because they're afraid of the potential misuse of digital currencies. But the thing is that most of the fiat digital currency is
yeah,
already doing that. If you're worried about the government shutting off your bank account suddenly, that's
yeah,
what's happening today. That's what
yeah.
Bitcoin solves. The decentralization of money will take power away from dictators and tyrants and people who, so basically help prop up this system that
Definitely, yeah.
absolutely.
When you have some meaningful uh, uh, something that you do, you become very relentless because there's some purpose or some kind of passion behind it, and that's I'm one of the passionate person in crypto. Even though during the time of bull market of 2017, I got a bit greedy because I'm still a human, but human. The greed, I let the greed get to me. Uh, but fundamentally, I was able to remind myself, okay, what is the number one reason I got into crypto is kind of make some impact other people's lives. So
Well,
that's why one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I went to all in Steam as well.
I can hear the passion in your voice, and
Yeah.
if we just want to talk about, I guess the philosophy is what's most important here. And you were talking about how Brexit was kind of a thing in 2016, and that was one of the issues that you were dealing with. Do you want to talk about
Yeah.
Brexit at all, and what that means to you?
Yeah. So I was I'm an immigrant to UK. When I first came, I had three jobs. I had started from working in the gas station, petrol station, McDonald's, and supermarket. So I had a degree. I earned a degree. Then I ended up working in insurance company. So then I got this corporate thing, and 2014, I kind of able to work for myself thanks to Airbnb and Uber. Then after 1 year into it, I started my own startup, a language school kind of thing. So for people who want to practice their English language, who come from mainly from Europe, like Italy, Spain, or in South Korea, Japan kind of countries. So I was doing that as a startup experiment. So I spent like 8-9 months into it. Then the Brexit happened June 2016. So all my students or the members of the class, the school, they said, I can't come anymore. I want to go back to Italy. I want to go back to Spain, or because they didn't see any future in the UK because they can't stay. And I tried to pivot my startup. Then I'm like, since then I actively get involved in government and politics. And but I thought because coming from a developing country like Sri Lanka, where government is more corrupted, and I thought UK is not corrupted, but then I felt like when I see Brexit in front of my eyes and the lies they made to the public, and the BBC News, how they propaganda and create fake news, and I kind of like really start hating this government official and people in power. But then that's why I started travel and kind of sold my house and started traveling. But the government is kind of like, it's also happened in 2008 as well when the financial crisis happened. That time I graduated from university with a first class degree, and I was looking to be able to get a good job because I spent a lot of money to earn this degree from a university. So because of the financial crisis, there were no entry-level job. So I had to work at a normal job for 2 years until that recovery. So I kind of felt like we had people in power, they don't know how to allocate capital. They don't really, they don't have the best interests of their own citizens or people. They just have their own interests and agenda. Yeah, so it's kind of impacted me in many ways in my life. But then when I found out Bitcoin, I'm like, instead of fighting and getting involved with the government, it's good to just take the power away from them.
Absolutely. The best way to replace the old system is to build a new one rather than fighting
That's right.
the old.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
definitely, if you're traveling the world, it's going to give you some perspective on how things are from our points of view from one place to another. When you get to go there and see something firsthand, you see that maybe the things you believed weren't necessarily true. And I think that I relate a lot to your story there because I remember getting out of college right in 2000 and around 2008 when the housing market crashed, and it felt like everything was sort of going up in flames. The system, as they say, is not as stable as people think it is, and they pretend that it is, and they pretend that somebody has it all under control, but realistically they're just making it up as they go along. And in any other time you'd call it counterfeiting, but they made up a fancy term called quantitative easing, and now they can just print money nonstop. And anybody who understands even the fundamentals knows that you can't print money forever. And I think that cryptocurrency offers us a bit of a solution to that, and I think that it's one of the most important developments in my lifetime for sure.
Yeah, I think definitely is. People need to understand the bigger picture, and then they know how big the crypto is going to be in the future. So that's why I tell people we are still extremely early.
So we have a comment here in the Hive Coffee chat, and
Yeah.
Phil says Nathan is our #1 Twitter promoter. I see him on about Hive every day, so that's awesome. You're getting people's attention and you're making waves. So keep up the great work.
Yeah,
Just wanted
thank you.
to
Yeah,
wanted to let you know that. So the next thing I wanted to jump into for this topic is how did you discover Hive? How did you land here on this fantastic chain with us?
yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, 2017, I got into crypto full time. So I put all my money in, and I became as an investor. So I had a portfolio of different cryptocurrencies. I really enjoyed that, and I also became a little bit greedy at the height of the bull market, 2007, 18 January kind of thing. But then around April or March, I'm like, uh, I don't want to be an investor. I'm more of an entrepreneur. So I was looking, where do I fit in this crypto? What could I do? And so I started Steam as a hobby in January 2018, writing some article because I had one of my portfolio coin is Steam. So I just staked some Steam and earning some inflation rewards. Then I thought I can earn some curation and author rewards as well. That's how I started. But then I dig deeper into Steam. Then I thought, oh, this is very exciting. There's so much potential to what it could be. And also coming from a person who really benefit from reading blogs and watching YouTube videos, and I felt like imagine having a decentralized peer-to-peer media where you can or everyone can earn and build a decentralized media protocol. So I kind of felt I see something in 10 years ahead. This is going to be huge. This is going to be the next Facebook, or this is going to be the next Reddit, or like something like that, or eBay. We can. So I've gone all in, but I did some few experiment with Steam. I did some launch some my own initiative, but that's kind of everything didn't work out. Then I kind of sold some of the other crypto coins for Steam. So I kind of heavily involved with Steam. And then I had this vision that there's an individual application like Steam Monster, then we had DTube, DLive, and some Musing, and some Steep Shot. There's like an old application, it's called dApps. So I thought I could delegate some of the Steam power to them, so they support them, they are succeeding, so that will help the whole Steam community. So, but then we had a DLive. So what they did was they joined our community and they exited, and they had their own agenda. And I don't know what happened, so I don't want to say I don't know what the conversation they had with Steam when they got the delegation from NED. So, but they came in 2 to 3 months. They said we are leaving because Steam is not fitting for us. So they left their own blockchain. So then I'm like, I went all in with DTube and developed some product initiative and developed a community. I call this as a DTube Family 777. I had about 1,000 people from DTube, and I delegated some lot of Steam power. I gave a lot of incentive wise, and I was extremely active on DTube, like how I'm on Twitter right now. I spend 14, 15 hours a day on DTube homepage and trying to curate all the videos and engage in the community and who's joining new and what their complaints are. So I'm kind of focusing on the user, the community side of things. But as a volunteer, I thought if I can make a DTube a killer application, that will help the entire Steam blockchain. Then I had an opportunity to go to Steam Festival 3 in 2018.
That's
November.
Awesome. Where was that?
Yeah, so in Europe, Krakow, Poland.
Okay, in Krakow.
Yeah, so I actually went a couple of months earlier to see the place. Then I met the Roland P, the organizer of the Steam Festival. Now we call it High Fest. Then I went there again when the actual event happened. So one of my main purpose was intention to go there is just to uh, find some partnership for DTube and to meet the DTube founder and meet all the DTube creators and make something happen for DTube. And I try my very best to do some brainstorming session at private conference at the hotel we stayed. But nothing really significant happened, but we get together and we discuss all the ideas we had. Then that time I was living in Japan, so I had to come all the way from Japan to Europe. Then I went back. Then I heavily focused on DTube. So I thought this is the thing I'm only going to do. So I want to focus on DTube. And then we had this Steam It Inc. layoff period happen, like just soon after the festival. So they laid off 70% of the staff, and everyone in our community started panicking, or they like worried about the future of Steam.
And rightly so. You know, there was so little leadership. I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't do anything, but it really felt like there were promises being made, and then it wasn't being delivered. You know, and they could have done so much more, and it felt like too little, too late.
Yeah, I think it's I'm a Liverpool football fan. The team that I support, they were performing not well, and the owners are not really investing into the football club. And the CEO of the football club want to find a new owner, but what they're trying not to make the best deal for themselves or the owner, but they look at the fans. They like what the fans want, and they want to win Champions League and they want to win trophies, and they find the owner who can obviously, even when the previous owner decide to sell, they are not just looking for the financial, but also looking for the future of the club, right? With the Steemit and Ned, the dealing with it, and I don't really know the true story, but I think if he had some integrity or some in him, so he could have more transparent and just find somebody who really find a good buyer, you know, that's what, or maybe share with the community with more transparency what's happening. And I think he start hiding a lot of things. But anyway, that's
yeah, you know, I don't know all of the details about everything that unfolded, but what I'm trying to also do is put together the pieces of the story. I think that it's one of the most important stories in crypto, and some users have a lot to say about it. But for me, myself, I felt like we were voting for our chain. We were voting to protect decentralization. We were voting to protect our free speech. And we cannot continue to use a chain that is not secure, a chain that doesn't believe in the same values. And, you know, despite all that happened before, you know, we have an incredible opportunity in our hands now, because the community, a decentralized community all around the world, managed to pull off something that Steemit Inc. couldn't deliver for years.
Definitely.
And now we are, a year later, we are in a completely different situation, and the two chains have moved in completely different directions. Looking back, you can see where they diverged, and they're not even the same thing anymore. So I really hope that people are able to check out Hive, that they're able to plug in and take a look at all of the incredible decentralized applications that are being launched, and also communities. Now, I'm not just talking about a community like you live in a community, but we now have communities on Hive, and they're called tribes. And the idea behind the tribe is that a group of people can get together, and they can even have their own community token. This is the proof of brain concept that was teased to us years ago, and that you know, it wasn't until a group of programmers got together and launched this thing and just made it happen. And now we have a number of communities that are leading the way. Obviously, LeoFinance here. You can vote on this post right now. You can leave a comment below. Make sure that you interact. This is an interactive show, and I would love to talk to you. Come on, be a guest sometime, and we're going to have a great chat about Hive and what is exciting to you. So this community, LeoFinance, is based on markets and finance. And maybe you don't know a whole lot about markets, or you don't think you have any expertise to share, but where do you live? What country are you in? You have valuable information to share. And hey, even if you don't know what to write, you can read incredible content. And just by voting on great content, you're going to share the payouts from that. You see, we have an economic model built in here to our communities. And I think that's an advantage that well, almost nobody else has. There's a few other social networks that try to use cryptocurrency. Minds is one that comes to mind, and they're using Ethereum. And it's interesting because they're actually batching all their transactions at the end of the day to save on fees, but it doesn't hold a candle to what's going on here at Hive. So Nathan, I just wanted to pick your brain for a moment about communities. What are your favorite communities, and what are your favorite tokens? What are the favorite projects that you're excited about? Obviously, you're focused on Twitter, and we're going to get into that in a minute here. But when it comes to communities, what are the most exciting communities on Hive for you?
Yeah, I think I want to give, if we look at a bigger picture 10 years from now, the tokenized community, right? Tokenized community means you have a virtual countries, a virtual group of people get together and they create their own economic incentives and they have their own token. And that's the world we're going to live in, a virtual, digital nations or digital land. There's so many different countries, and if you had to go there, then you need to buy this coin, and you need to do that. Then you can become a member of that, like having a dual citizenship or like a multi-citizenship. So we're going to have, in 10 years time, we're going to have this kind of a tokenized community. Is going to be huge. But Hive at the moment, we are extremely early in this tokenized community. My favorite community, obviously, LeoFinance is number one. There's a CTP talk, and then there's a Bro token, and there's natural medicine. But I don't really like the tokens like nationalized. Okay, say you are Venezuelan or you are from this particular country. I rather have something rather than this nationalism, but more about something, a topic that people kind of go, there's minimalism, or there's some vegan group, or there's something freedom, liberty, and libertarian, like those people.
Absolutely. I think it'd be way better for people to organize their communities and their tokens rather than around, nationalities or particular regions. That it could be something for everybody, or something for a philosophy, like let's say minimalism, right. A community or a token for people who believe in minimalism. That's something that people can say, I believe in this, but it doesn't necessarily have to be their identity or where they're from. If you move to a different country, can you still post in the Canada community? Well, of course you can, because I don't mind if you join the Canada community. You can pop into the Canadian pub for a beer. I'll send you a beer token if you post in there. But reaching out to the people in our communities and bringing them onto Hive, it's not just about saying, well, this is my neighborhood community and we're all going to stay together. I think we have an opportunity to share the philosophies of decentralization and free speech and freedom and the things that are important to us. We have an opportunity to bring that to the world, and they can look at this platform not as, countries, but as we're a whole group of people who believe in these ideas.
Yeah, I think it's very important thing in the community development. If you're going to tokenize your community, and you definitely have a leader, so people can follow your vision and your mission. You need to know what your community is about. Why they're joining. Are they going to play football together? Are they going to talk about beer? Then in the long run, it will translate to Amazon, so people able to buy products and service between them, not just proof of brain, but also a community that has their own economy. Then they can import, export kind of in a virtual way. They can sell their skills and they can sell food, the goods and services in a way. And that's what the long term, like now we have Facebook Marketplace. You can find some Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace. But when the Facebook first launched, nobody visualized this could happen, right? So that's why I see 10 years from now on, what we will have a tokenomics economics, a community that will become like a mini eBay or mini Amazon. Then they have their own token kind of thing.
Well, I will happily accept Hive as payment for, my own services. I'll make graphics, and I'd be happy to do that for little bits of Hive. Anything I
Yeah.
can do to increase my power up. Let's dive right into the Hive Twitter campaign. Tell me how that
Yeah.
started, and tell me what you're focused on doing right now.
Okay, so 2018, so we had this steaming layoff, right? So that time I was doing full time YouTube. So then I felt like I need to help Steam community. I just can't continue with YouTube because YouTube is like a child of Steam. That's what my imagination was. So I don't know what to do, and I thought Steam need investor, Steam need a partnership. So what's the best way I can do that is go and ask people. So I thought Twitter is the way that I could do. So I started the 777 challenge on Twitter. We had about 700 people participated over five months period time. This is the community I built from YouTube that kind of expand into high Twitter movement for Steam. And I was giving everything I have to make this something happen for Steam. And I thought Ned was doing his best to find some investment and partnership for the benefit of a community and working on towards SMTs. But I kind of got burned out myself. I went to meet some few investors to talk about Steam and by myself. But really got burned out. So what happened personally for me during that time is that I have a little boy. First son was born. I was living in Japan for the first time. Then I put too much on my plate, and I Steam community became my family, and I forgot I had my own family. So I had to really take a break from everything I did. Then I went away and just started working normal life, a normal job at the previous job I was doing. And it was one of my lowest time in my life, and I had to kind of hit rock bottom. I suffered a lot mentally, emotionally, financially. Then I kind of slowly recovered. Then I came back to Hive last June. And so I thought, because I left my Twitter campaign started, so it's best way to start on Twitter. So I started on Twitter. So I thought we don't need investor, but every business or every protocol need continuous investment, continuous growth, continuous collaborations. We need actively looking for people to work along and build a bridge. So I thought I want to continue to do the Twitter campaign, but I'm just kind of looking other things as well. So my main focus is to kind of a community-driven Twitter campaign or Twitter-first approach for getting the word out and create true believers of Hive and connecting with the other community members and using it as a tool to community development, also a tool to find new investors and new partnership and new people to join Hive. So it's kind of all put together. That's my kind of vision right now. But I'm continually thinking what else I can do. Is there something else I can do better, or maybe is there any other way to do it? But in order to do that in the long term, I need if I'm to sustain it, and I need to sustain my energy. I shouldn't be running out, or I shouldn't put too much on my plate on anything long term. And I need to have liquidity, so I need to be able to fund the journey. So luckily, the Hive now hit almost $1, so I have 40,000 something Hive power. That's for me the lifestyle I live. It feels like a lot of money to me. And I have a plan to do DHF proposal. I'm not expecting to get funded, but also I'm planning to pitch myself to some other crypto investors and ask them for invest in me or invest in Steam, invest in Hive. So kind of exploring how I can bring value to Hive ecosystem from outside, not inside, from outside.
Well, I can see that what you're doing is working, and I've got the recent Hive data post out here that shows that you are one of the top most liked and retweeted Hive owners on here. It looks like your number one most active user based on tweets. You've made 194 tweets in this last report, which is quite
Yeah.
impressive. You are leading the way. And every time I sign on to Twitter, your posts are right there. So you're getting attention. You're getting a lot of retweets, and a lot of eyes are looking at Hive now because of the things that you've been doing. So congratulations. I do
Yeah,
hope that your proposal gets funded. When you make that
yeah.
post, definitely share that with me, and I'll bring you on again, and we can chat about it. You can, you know, present your proposal, and hopefully we can get the word out. I will definitely vote for that for you. I think that we should be utilizing that decentralized Hive fund a little bit more than we are, but it takes time and it takes technical
No,
expertise as well at times. But is that the only use for it? Is the only reason for that fund simply for coders and programmers? Are there other ways that we can
yep,
use Hive to benefit everybody? There's
yeah,
a lot of ideas that we can explore here. Go ahead.
yeah. But I think the most important thing for me is that I set up my business node back in November or December last year. Uh, I never wanted to be a business, you know, and I never asked people to vote for me. But one of the reasons is I want people to take the governance more seriously. So everyone who hold high power or believe in our community and the future, they should be looking at who they're voting and what they're doing, and they
Definitely.
will be key. And the DAO, DHF, is very important for long-term sustainability and growth. And people should be looking what sort of projects are get funded. Is it the same kind of people get funded again over and over again, or are they have a small part, a one-party system who just they have a team, they just support each other, but they just leave the rest of the community out of, they put a barrier and say, you can't enter. This is our group. We can only reward if you're in the club. So I don't want that. We want a diversity.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the reasons I'm doing this proposal. Is not like, for me, I can so many other different ways I can get this funding myself. I can pitch or I can work another job or something. I can do so many different ways. But it's just about get the community involved, and people are really scared to put their proposal up. I'm talking to some people. I had this idea, but I'm thinking I might not get funded. I'm like, but if we don't do it, and this, we're not going to create diversity. And this is DAO is very important for a decentralized thing because we had to self-sustain. So
Definitely.
this is our
And it's not the
yeah.
only
So
way. Some witnesses are making proposals just as posts. They're posting their Hive proposals, and as they gain more and more support, hopefully they're building towards, and maybe if they were to make a DAO proposal, they'll have their supporters already built up. So I encourage you to keep writing, keep posting
yeah,
about these ideas, and I will definitely give you my upvote, and I will definitely be reading. I think that the proof of brain is so important because, as you said, we need to make sure that we are supporting users who share the beliefs that we all share, like decentralization,
yeah,
censorship resistance. How are we looking at the philosophy of this? And if you're voting
yes,
for users that, like, let's say, just the last few weeks there have been a couple phishing scams, and I've helped a couple users try to resolve these issues
mm-hmm.
with their accounts. They've been put on
Yeah,
spam lists because they accidentally clicked something, and suddenly they have
yeah,
their account voting on things that they don't know anything about, and now they're getting downvoted, and they didn't even know why. They just thought that they were, being picked on or something, but really it had to do with their account not being secure. So everybody should
yeah,
make sure that you change your password if you haven't done that yet. Make sure that you're voting for the right witnesses, people that support the version of the chain that we're all running right now. There's a lot of witnesses who aren't even active. Some have quit
yeah.
and they're still getting tons of votes. So, voting for witnesses is an integral part of what we're doing here. Voting for
Mm,
users that support those witnesses also is extremely important. And you don't want to be voting for a user that is siphoning funds, like a leaky boat. There's a lot of accounts that seem to be just transferring funds off of the chain. And if you believe in Hive, you want to power up. You want to
yeah,
vest your Hive in your account, get some of those shares, increase your voting power, and make sure that you're using your voting power. You should be voting on at least 20 to 30 great posts every day. I always log in and I check the most recently created, and I look for those gems that are maybe not getting the votes that they deserve.
mm,
I don't look immediately at the posts that posted 5 minutes ago and just got 180 votes. I look at the one that only has one and maybe was posted 20 minutes ago. There's a lot of things that slip through the cracks, and there's a lot of users who put so much time and effort into creating something and then it doesn't even get recognized. Those posts are the people that we should be supporting. We should be retweeting them, retweeting, but also reblogging them on our blogs, sharing those posts with our audience. And one of the cool things that you can do on Hive is you can set beneficiaries. And so sometimes when I make a created today post, I'll feature 4 or 5 different users. I'll put the links to their posts and their tags and stuff. But what I'll do is I'll actually set them to receive part of the payout from the post that I create. And that's a very underutilized feature that we have. It's absolutely incredible that you could do that. And there's a lot of interesting things that we could explore here. But tell us, how can we find you on Twitter? And how can we support you in your mission to share Hive with people?
I'm actually blessed with everyone who massively helping me and helping us to with this Twitter campaign. But for me, is there's some mindset some people have is they are really think short term. So they're just thinking, what can I get now? What can I get tomorrow? But they need to think, what can they get in 10 years if I'm friends with Nathan Mars, or if I'm really accumulate Hive, and if I've been part of this movement, and I can also build my own brand and own recognition in the community. But they just like, give me a board, give me $10 Hive, so you promise me, give me that. So they're not even care about anything. But so for me, my job is to identify who is truly the long-term people and truly committed and just want to bring them close to me. And other people, I'm going to use them and take advantage of them to get what I want.
Teamwork makes the dream work. It really does. People working together and long term, I'm here to stay. I've been here since 2016, and I'm thrilled just being able to put a little bit of simple HTML into my posts.
Yep.
I think this is the most incredible decentralized data layer. And as I dig deeper into the philosophies here, I really think that it's a conversation worth having. And there's a lot more that we can chat about, but I really do appreciate your time, Nathan. You can find him on Twitter. Nathan Mars is his account. You can follow him there, retweet his posts, post about Hive, share your blog posts on Twitter, on Facebook, and bring your friends and family over to these decentralized platforms. Not everyone is going to be super interested in the financial aspect of it, but when it comes to great content, you're going to find it on Hive. And what's amazing also is that you can post something on Hive and it's embedded inside the coin. So 5 years from now, you'll be able to go back and find your post. Just like I did when I looked up my very, very first post just a couple weeks ago. And it's funny because all the websites that I've made, and I've made countless websites, and I've filled forums with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of threads full of fantastic information. But again and again and again, I've been extremely disappointed to discover that it's all gone. All those websites, all those hours that I spent and wasted my time researching and putting information together, trying to get stuff out there, it's all gone. But if I was posting on Hive, it would still be there, permanent, forever. I mean, you have control over your data, so if you want to log in and modify something, you can do that. But if somebody's clever enough, they're going to be able to see that something was changed. But for the most part, this is a front end that anybody can plug into. If you want to post memes, great. Share memes. Go into one of the meme communities, post your meme, and then share that on Facebook. If you just post it to Facebook, you're literally giving your proof of brain away. And why would you want to do that? You have the opportunity to take control of your data, to take control of your free speech. You can't be censored when you post your thoughts on Hive and then share that link. Sure, somebody could report your link and they could take it down, but it's still going to be here. And if it's not on one front end, it'll be on another. And if it's not on any of those front ends, it'll still be on the base layer. We are building an entirely new, decentralized World Wide Web. And what's cool is that when you create your account, you're opening up a wallet, like an empty envelope. And you can just start posting content and you're going to earn tokens based on your proof of brain. The efforts that you put in here are going to translate into actual vesting shares. And if you want to trade those vesting shares for Bitcoin, go right ahead. But personally, I'm powering up. I think that everybody needs to have a little bit of Hive, especially if you use social media in 2021. You know, the future looks bright. What do you think, Nathan?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an exciting time. But I want to just add a few things to it. I
Of
think
course.
if you're new to Hive, and first thing you need to focus is to connect, join a community and connect with people. Uh, then add value to that community. Then that's how you earn the recognition. Then you build your own brand or you build what you are good at. I think some people just come in and I wrote a great article. I spent 5 hours to it and I got $1 upvote. It doesn't work that way. What you need to do is like I go on Twitter and I see people had very smart tweet, like a very unique tweet, but they don't have enough followers. They don't know anybody, so they have little connection. The tweets is just sitting there, right? So that's the most important thing. People need to kind of join a community and add value. Then if they keep at it a consistent basis, and they will get the reward they deserve, and then they can actively involve in the governance and the DAO, and they really feel they are a owner. So with Twitter, Facebook, we are just a user, so we are not a shareholder, we don't get paid dividends. But here with Hive, we are like an early stage venture capitalist. We are investing in the future, but we own it, so we have to act like we are owner. So we do everything we can to push Hive to $25 in 5 years. What will happen is all the hard work we put in will pay off in 5 years. So we think long term. Yeah, that's the point I want to add. Yeah.
Hey, that's awesome. Those are some really great thoughts. And I know that I'm going to think of a bunch of questions after we finish this stream here. But
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much. You know, we're 8 hours
Yeah.
apart. It's 2 in the
Yeah.
afternoon for me, but it's probably late at night for you. So thank you for waiting all day to have this chat with me. I would love to follow up some more soon. But I'm going
Yeah.
to make sure I pop onto Twitter and I
Yeah.
check out your most recent tweets. Maybe I'll retweet a couple of them and make my own post for this show so that people can
Yeah.
watch the replay. And
Yeah.
if you have anything else that you'd like to bring up, we will definitely chat about it next time. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Nathan.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it. But yeah, thanks again, and let's keep connected and let's keep building our Hive ecosystem together.
Yeah, it was great talking to you. All right, everybody,
Thank you,
make
Mike.
sure that you vote on the Leo Ball. You can see here on Hive Coffee at leofinance.io. We have the live stream video right here. You can click on the Leo Ball, and when you comment Leo Ball on this post and on the live stream, you're going to get 2 entries to win half of the Leo author rewards that are paid out from this post here. I spin this wheel with everybody's names on it, so it's a nice fair spin, and I'm excited to see who wins next. So join me here on Hive Coffee every week as we chat with Hivers about what's exciting to them. If you'd like to join me on the show, you can join the Discord and we'll plan a time we can make it work. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great afternoon. Bitcoin is trading at about 54,985 right now, down a little bit from looks like 55,428. You can see Fiat Leak in the background there. I see some Bitcoin. I see some Polkadot. I see some Tether. I see some Ethereum and some Link. Crypto never sleeps, and therefore I try not to either. Here's another view from the overnight page. Thanks for watching.